In the quiet hours of the night, when the world grows softer and the edges of reality begin to blur into something gentler, a story emerges from the deepest corners of history. A story that drifts like a silent shadow across forgotten maps and whispered legends telling of places that existed so vividly in the minds of explorers, cartographers, and dreamers that they were drawn, described, charted, and believed despite the fact that they never truly existed. This is the calm, slow, drifting tale of phantom settlements, the cities that lived only in ink, imagination, and rumor, and yet shaped real expeditions, real expectations, and real human hopes. To sink into this story is to drift into a strange and beautiful landscape where the boundary between truth and belief becomes thin as mist, where entire cities rise and fade like visions, and where the human mind reveals its power to conjure worlds from the faintest hint of possibility. Imagine a time before satellites, before accurate compasses, before standardized measurements, a time when maps were not perfect representations of the world, but dreamlike guesses, works of art. As much as documents filled with sea monsters curling in the margins, coastlines drawn from memory, symbols that hinted at wonders or dangers. Into this uncertain space slipped entire cities that would persist for centuries on maps, confidently placed yet fundamentally unreal. One of the earliest and most haunting examples is the mysterious island of Friesland, drawn meticulously on European maps for nearly 200 years. Cartographers shaded its mountains, detailed its ports, and named its towns with care, as though they had walked its winding roads. Travelers wrote of sailing past it. Explorers plotted routes round it. And yet, when later expeditions searched for the island, it was nowhere. The sea where it should have risen was empty, endless, silent. What makes Friesland so eerie is the detail. Its cities and settlements were not crudely sketched rumors, but fully imagined places, locations treated as fact by people who had never seen them. When the truth finally surfaced, it left behind a strange question. How does a place appear so vividly in the collective belief of generations without ever existing at all? This question echoes again in Central Asia, with the phantom city of Balkar, once described by merchants crossing the Silk Road as a prosperous hub carved from pale stone, with tall towers that shimmered in the heat and a river that flowed through the center like a silver thread. Travelers wrote of the music drifting from its streets at night, of markets that glowed with lantern light, of voices that murmured beneath the desert wind. Maps from many cultures confidently mark its location. And yet no trace has ever been found, no stone, no ruin, no shard, nothing but sand stretching endlessly beneath a blinding sky. Some believe exhausted travelers merged memories of various caravan stops into a single image, a dream city formed by fatigue and shimmering heat. Others think shifting dunes swallowed it completely. But the desert offers no answers, only silence. Another phantom settlement whispered through the journals of early explorers in the Americas, the city of El Tuerto, the One-Eyed, a name whose meaning was already fading even when it was first written. Those who claimed to see it described structures of bright, shimmering stone and streets that seemed almost to glow at night. Some argued the glow came from strange minerals. Others insisted it was supernatural. Several expeditions vanished while seeking it later. Searchers found only forests and unbroken rock. But like all phantom cities, its absence did not erase its presence in human imagination. Perhaps the most perplexing of all is the legendary city of Norumbega, which appeared confidently on maps of Northeast America for centuries. Early explorers described tall wooden houses, intricate gold ornaments, and a thriving culture. Captains claimed to have met its inhabitants. Scholars debated its origins. Yet once systematic exploration began, Norumbega vanished completely. The rivers once believed to cradle revealed nothing but quiet water and forest shadows. No artifacts, no ruins, no evidence. And still, for generations, people believed in it, searched for it, and dreamed of discovering it. The truth of Norumbega and of phantom settlements in general reveals something profound about human nature. We are drawn to the unknown, and when confronted with blanks on our maps or uncertainties in our minds, we fill them with imagination. A distant flicker of firelight becomes a settlement. A twisted tree becomes a tower. A mirage becomes a city. And once a story is written on a map, in a journal, in a rumor whispered over a campfire, it begins to live a life of its own. Even in Scotland during the 19th century, surveyors occasionally recorded villages that later turned out to be nothing but fields. Places conjured accidentally through misunderstanding or fleeting glimpses of smoke. On the map, these villages became real, influencing travel and conversation, until later surveys quietly erased them. This phenomenon extends further, reaching into myths like the city of the Caesars in South America, said to contain inexhaustible wealth and people who never aged. Expeditions searched for it for centuries. Some returned claiming to have seen shining towers in the distance, but could never reach them. Others disappeared completely, whether born from wishful thinking, illusions, or fear. These phantom cities were powerful enough to shape real history. Imagine now a lonely medieval mapmaker in a candlelit room, scratching ink across parchment. He hears rumors from travelers, strange descriptions muddled by fatigue, wind, and memory. He has no way to verify them. But the world is vast and full of possibility, so he draws the city they describe. Perhaps he doubts it. Perhaps he feels a twinge of uncertainty. But maps must be filled. Blank spaces must be explained. So, a stroke of the quill brings a new city into existence, not physically, but in collective belief. And once drawn, it becomes truth for generations. What makes these phantom settlements so calming and strange is that they remind us of a world once filled with mystery, a world where imagination and reality braided together so tightly that they were nearly indistinguishable. They ask us to consider how much of what we believe even today is shaped not by certainty, but by stories repeated until they feel real. As you drift through this tale, picture the explorers standing at a horizon glowing with sunset, the heat bending the air into ripples. They see what looks like a village, a cluster of shapes in the distance. They walk toward it for hours, only for the forms to dissolve into nothing. But the memory remains. The memory becomes a journal entry. The journal entry becomes a map. The map becomes a legend. And the legend becomes a city that never existed, but somehow lived for centuries. These places, though unreal, are deeply human. They are reflections of longing for discovery, for riches, for wonder, for meaning, for a world more magical than the one we know. Even today, phantom cities whisper to us, reminding us that not all mysteries lie in ruins or artifacts. Some live in the soft space between imagination and memory. And so, as you breathe slowly and let the world soften, imagine these cities still drifting somewhere in the folds of time, shimmering like lanterns behind layers of dream and dust. They were never real, and yet in a way, they were real in the minds of those who believed in them, real in the decisions they shaped, real in the quiet echo they left on ancient maps. They remain as gentle reminders that humans have always dreamed beyond the horizon, always filled the unknown with wonder, and always built cities not only from stone and wood, but from hope, rumor, and imagination, and perhaps, in some quiet corner of the world, in a moment between waking and sleep, those phantom settlements still glow faintly, waiting for dreamers to find them again.